We are in and parked here at Orlando Speed World. We've got the trailer all opened up. We've got the car out. We got the scooters out. And we're parked across from some of our friends. We're parked with some friends over here, and we've got a spot getting saved for some other friends that are leaving today. We'll test and tune today and make a few passes and whatnot, and then tomorrow we do qualifying. Test pass today. We had the GoPro in the car, but we forgot the GoPro for outside of the car, which it was a throwaway run anyway. The tires spun just like they were in Atlanta, so obviously that was not the track in Atlanta. So now you see my face is dirty, my hands are not clean. We took the tires off and decided, hey, Mickey Thompson's here. We should probably do this. Should probably take care of this, because if it's not hooking, we're not gonna go any rounds. So we are getting new tires put on, and we're gonna hopefully make one more hit, because test and tune stops at 5, I think. And I mean, it's 2:10-ish. We just dropped the tires off. That's gonna take like 45 minutes because they've got people in front of us. So otherwise though, I mean, and during the run, like after I got it to stop spinning, it seemed pretty okay. Yeah. We just really would like a clean pass, but so getting the tires changed. We'll get them put it back on, and hopefully we'll get to make at least one more pass. Hopefully we're gonna cross our fingers for it to be clean, hooks, you know, all that good stuff. So. we have the car in the trailer now. We're, what is that called? Fogging oil?
Yeah.
Putting
some oil. We run it. It's basically like after run oil because, I don't know, it's the fuel or something. It has these properties that will rust the cylinders. Like when you're using the car every day, it's not a problem. But as this car gets put away for the next 2 weeks, maybe it's a humid environment, and it'll literally start to form rust in the cylinders and on the piston rings. Basically what this does is fire the car up, you spray it right down the carburetor. So you spray oil down the carburetor and kind of makes the plugs look a little oily, and essentially it just coats everything so it doesn't rust in between uses. We did have a problem with that last time, so this is new to us. This is what we're doing. So anyway, this is the Stick Shift Syndicate post-time wrap-up show, I guess.
That's a long
We're all
ending.
done. We're all done. We basically, let's see. We showed up, then the car kicked our ass, then the clutch kicked our ass, the tires kicked our ass, and then some guy that we ran first round, he kicked our ass.
He kicked our ass.
But that's what happens in this sport. It's very humbling. You get one shot. It ain't like you get to play for an hour trying to whatever you guys do.
There's no reset button.
Yeah, the kick balls in goals for an hour. You get whatever, 3 chances to hit the ball. However that goes, I don't know nothing about that crap. This one, you get basically 11 seconds to try to figure out how to not mess it up too bad, and the other guy's doing the same thing. We just got our ass kicked. But the good news is what? What's the good news? Is there any good news here?
There's good news.
Here's the good news. Look at this light. This thing is freaking sweet.
Snazzy.
So anyway, what's the good news?
Good news is we didn't buy a crappy set of heads. They work.
Didn't even have to throw them in a lake.
It didn't. Yeah, I did say that. If they didn't work, I was throwing them in a lake. Which, that did not happen. They're still bolted on there.
Yep. And
the car runs.
the car still runs. It still has oil pressure. We definitely we made some pretty good passes when we got here.
I mean, I wouldn't call them pretty good, but...
No, well, here's what I'm basing the pretty good...
Oh, so you're not basing it on...
I'm basing the pretty goodness on the fact that we made it down the track, not like we didn't make stellar passes, but what happened was we had like clutch problems. Like, we did make a video on the clutch, and I just want to let you know that all the information in that video is correct, but the way I set the clutch up was incorrect.
Completely wrong.
Yeah, we had way too much clutch. We got enough clutch in this car to run 8s, and we're trying to run 11s. So that didn't go well. And after we struggled for a couple of passes, we
Gave Kale a call.
well, gave the clutch guy a call, and he told me exactly what I figured. I did something wrong, didn't have it set up right, and he told me exactly what to do, and I didn't exactly do that. I thought it was going to be way too loose, so I kind of did what I wanted to. And he said that was fine. He said, listen, if you want to make the clutch a little tight, go ahead, make it a little tight. It ain't gonna hurt it. So essentially what we did was, Kale said, so to give you guys an idea how bad I screwed this up, 4 turns of base and 60 grams, 30 per arm, way too much.
Way too much.
Kale said, put 2 turns of base. How
10
much?
grams per arm.
So 30 grams total. I said, we'll put 3 turns in it
15
and
grams.
15 grams.
Which that, we had to do math and I had to figure out
Yeah.
what was what. So,
So-
it could be 14 and a half, could be
Yeah,
15
I
and a
know
half.
we're close because I think Autumn did the calculations, and the reason why we didn't make it perfect is because our gram scale
Is at the shop.
It's sitting in the shop, so that's not ideal either. But so it's the car. It was much better, but it still didn't go down. It still spun the tires. We took 1 more turn, so now we are at Kale's recommended 2 turns.
With 15 grams per
With
arm.
15 grams per arm, and the car, it's spinning, but it's like a real controlled spin. It's actually a really, it's making good passes, but it is spinning. So essentially what we're gonna do is, we're gonna take 5 grams off the arms, and we're gonna end up with exactly what Kale said to put in it.
And it's probably going to help us.
It's
Probably going to stop being wonky.
I mean, here's the deal.
And
You just keep loosening the clutch until the clutch slips so the tires can't. We're just, I mean, the good news is that, so the fastest this car ever ran was like, how far under, Autumn?
64 under.
64
And
under.
that was literally perfect weather. It was
yeah,
one of the first-
tailwind, perfect weather. It was like everything came together.
And it was one of the first races we ever did with this car, so the motor was
Super fresh.
fresh.
It was super fly fresh.
Super freaky fresh
Yeah. So
stuff.
So anyway, we start out and we ran 40 under, and we're like, you know what? We'll take 40 under. The car's still
I was
spinning.
not taking 40 under.
Yeah, Autumn was not happy about it.
I was not happy.
Autumn thinks you should fire brand new good stuff up and go out and run a second under the index. Let me tell you, these guys.
No, not a second. But I didn't want to be where we used to be.
Right, I understand that. So, these guys that are out here running a second under their index, they didn't just show up at the track yesterday and run a second under the index. This class takes a lot of work. Like, this class takes way more work and way more money than you should ever have to put into a slow-ass race car. But this is what we signed up for. We knew this was going to happen. Anyway, so we start kind of whittling away at it. We're changing our launch RPMs. We're lowering by a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there, and we're getting the car to actually run. It's spinning a little less. It's getting a little better. We're changing the way we're driving. We change our shift RPM.
We changed the way that we did in our burnout too.
Yeah, we were really scared. We didn't want to get a bunch of heat in the clutch by slipping the clutch doing a burnout. In second gear, which is really how you should do it to get a little wheel speed, we decided, hey, we are going to do a first gear burnout. This car don't need a big burnout. And we're gonna save the clutch so we can be a little more consistent. That actually really paid off. The burnouts weren't, it's not some super fly John Force shit, but it gets the job done. So anyway, we're getting things really nailed down. Autumn probably had the best weekend of driving. Now, when I say driving, to me, driving is just hitting your marks. So Autumn was always having trouble missing the 1-2 shift. It's always way, it's way higher than we really need to shift it. Blah blah blah. Anyway, she nailed the driving duties. There I go dropping shit again. It's fine. Just leave it under there. Where's the other one at?
Over there.
Got it. Okay. So Autumn's nailing like everybody who works on shit and don't drop it on the floor. You heard it hit the floor, right? That's a win. It's not laying on the frame. It's all good. So
yeah, I gotta crawl under there and get it.
Yeah,
though.
I'm just gonna crawl under there and get it, and I will make sure the videotape that. So anyway, we go out. 12. Our index right now at this weight is a 12 flat. So we go out and we run a 1144, and I'm like,
okay, all right, we're getting there.
I'm like, you know what? 44. We are. We're letting it rip. That's good.
What is that, 56? Yeah, 56 under the index, and we were almost 57
Yeah.
because it was low 44.
So we're feeling pretty good about that. That's our last time run. We're going into first round, and I mean, if the tires are spinning, hard to hit the tree. Autumn was late anyway. She was just late on the tree. But hey, you know what?
I don't think I was that late though.
Shit happens. Whatever. I ain't worried about that. So we go out. Essentially, it's a bracket race. Autumn.
I'm supposed to leave first.
She's supposed to be leaving first. She leaves second because the other guy's 38. She's 121, which is very
120. 120.
The pass before that, she's 35. So that's about normal for her. 20s, 30s, which whatever. Tires are spinning. Car won't really whatever. Doesn't react well. So Autumn gets down. She runs the guy down.
Passes him.
Yep. And so at that point, she's like, I'm ahead, and I'm gonna clearly like
hit the brakes.
Right. We're gonna.
I have never ever come around anyone in my life like that in this car.
We're gonna see what happens here. Autumn nails the brakes, and I think the car was going to run 117, which it had run 115, 116. I think the car was going to run about 117, which is pretty good mile an hour for this deal.
Yeah.
And
that's it has only run 117 once, and we could never get it to do that again.
Right. On our best pass ever in Virginia, it ran like 117 or something like that. Never even been close to that again.
Ever.
And it did it today. And so on the final run, it runs 110. So I think she killed 6, but I think she killed 7. And it runs an 1139.
On an 1144 dial.
Yep.
Spinning.
And nailing the brakes at the finish line. So the car was a little over our minimum weight. So just like Ricer math, I think that the clutch loose so it's not spinning. It's always going to be faster. So if you get the clutch right, if you're not nailing the brakes at the finish line, and if you're running pretty much right at our class weight, I'm pretty sure that's an 1130. And honestly, what's that, Autumn? 70 under?
70 under.
Yeah, 70 under. Let me tell you, first time at the track with some new stuff to go 70 under. When we pulled this motor out, it was running like what, 30 under, 30, maybe 40.
Barely. It was barely even running 30 under, 35 under.
And let me tell you, when we were like we were shifting it lower. We normally leave at 6,000 RPMs. The last pass when it ran at 39, it was 5,600.
Yes.
I think we left at 5,600.
No.
Or 5,400.
5,400. Because it was at 56.
Yeah.
And then we put it down another 200 to try and get it to stop spinning more.
I think it was 5,400. So I don't know if the thing just wants to leave that low, but every other time when we run this car, we'll leave at 6,200.
Well, heck, I love leaving that low because then I can hit the 1-2 shift.
Right, and that's one of the problems is when you leave at 6,200 and you're trying to shift it at 7,200, and the clutch is slipping so the RPM never really goes down, it's really hard with a car with a 514 gear and a 310 first gear in the trans to actually catch that thing in 1,000 RPMs, 1,500 RPMs.
I can't catch it.
No, it's crazy. So I think that everything that we've done has been very positive this weekend. Autumn's pissed because she missed the tree and basically whatever. That honestly, that's like I'm all in for the small wins. You get enough small wins, wrap them all together, and then the big wins come. So I'm like super pumped. I'm pretty pissed about the accumulator because now it's so hard to get the oil filter off that I was literally ready to blow this thing up with a stick of dynamite because
How long were you under the car?
Listen, I was literally under the car for an hour last night messing with the clutch that would have taken me 5 minutes on a lift.
So
the oil
stacker
filter is so hard to get off, and I'm laying on my back, and I'm too old and fat to lay on my back under a car on the ground. It's just terrible. It's terrible. So anyway, we got our first ever drum of fuel. We always buy, it's stupid, we buy 5 gallons of fuel and these stupid things. You know, let me tell you, this is a racket. 5 gallons of 110, we've been paying $65 for 5 gallons of 110.
Here, if we would have to get it in town just in case, it was 70 for a 5 gallon pail.
We bought that in Atlanta for 65.
For 65.
I think we bought it, it's like 55. 50 or something here if you put it in your
If you put it, so
jug.
we got a jug, the pink jug, we bought 5 gallons, it was $50. That was 65 in Atlanta. This was...
Well, there's a drum rental, like it's $20 for the drum, whatever, but it's like $500 and something for a drum. You're basically like, over that price, you're ending up getting like 2 or 3 of those pails for free. So it's
you're
really
saving like $200 depending on.
It's silly for us the way we've been doing it, but you also don't want to buy fuel and have it go bad. So we have like,
I don't know that fuel.
we got a week off. We're going to SGMP. Then we've got what, 2 or 3 weeks off, and then we race 3 weeks in a row.
No, we've got only 2 weeks off. Because SGMP is the 20th or something.
Yeah.
So we literally have like 2 weeks and then we're gone, and then we're gone for 3 weeks.
Yeah, we're doing the Divisional at SGMP. We're doing then the following week's the Divisional at, SGMP
2 weeks.
is in 2 weeks. Then we have another 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off or whatever it is.
I think it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then we go to Gainesville for the Divisional race. We go to the following week.
We go
Gator
to
Nationals.
Gainesville, we go to Gator Nationals, and then we go to the Stock and Super Stock.
Southern Sportsman Showdown.
That's the longest name.
Yeah, Southern Sportsman Showdown at SGMP, and it's basically like, okay, so the bracket racer guys, they get all the money. We basically spend $1 million to win a trophy. That's it, right? The bracket race guys, gotta love them. They're racing for big money. They're racing for 20, 30, 40, 50 grand, 100 grand, million, whatever. And it's freaking awesome.
We race just for all of the anger.
We race for glory. We race for glory and just wrecking our shit for $0. Anyway, so the Southern Sportsman Shootout race is going to be super fun. There's three $20,000 to win super stock races.
20 or 25?
I don't know. What's the difference? We're used to racing for $4.
$4?
$4.
I was racing for a Twinkie.
Anyway, it's going to be super fun, and we got a lot of racing coming. Anyway, the moral of that long ass story was, we bought a drum of fuel because we're going to burn a ton of fuel in the next, like, by the time we get to the end of whatever that month is, March.
We're probably going to have half of that gone.
Oh, it'll be more than that. I mean, if you go, you're gonna.
We've got 3 races.
If you go a bunch of rounds, you're gonna use 10. You're gonna use 10 gallons. So guess what? That's.
If I hit the tree better than 5 races this weekend, we'll actually go rounds.
Listen, you hitting the tree is usually not a problem. We got like really cool stuff going on with the car. Ran great, whatever. And we're really taking the time to put after run oil in it. We're gonna try and make this thing really stout the whole year. And it's going to be cool.
This thing. When you showed me that, you were like, look at the oil gauge. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's really cool. And honestly, while you were at work, I did a video on that, exactly how it works. And I showed on video
what happens.
That you can pre-lube the engine and it'll hold oil pressure for like 15 seconds. I was like, that was crazy.
Amazed. When you showed me that, I was like, what?
Yeah. So anyway, we're done. We got our butts kicked in super fine fashion, but we're super happy about the car, and we're like finally. And
it's not even like we don't even have things fine tuned. It's like
no, it's
like way out in the field.
Well, and here's the thing: we got to tighten the lash on the rockers, which makes the cam bigger, so that's going to help a tiny bit. We are running prior engine on the dyno. We saw a pretty good horsepower gain between, say, 36 and 40 degrees timing. It has 34 in it right now. So we literally have 6 degrees of timing to go. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna be surprised if we can't make this car go 80 under and we're gonna get a new intake manifold.
70 under.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I think 80 under. I think if we get
the clutch,
we're gonna get a brand new Gucci-fied manifold, and I'll bet you that we at some point at the end of the year, if this engine's healthy, we might be in bracket mode, not cooling it down, not doing anything crazy on 90 under car. That means if we go through all the take oil out of the engine, take oil out of the transmission, take oil out of the rear end, ice the engine down. This thing might even be a 1 second under. And once you get to a second under, like the other things is like the headers. We have a great set of headers. We love them, but they're not like the $3,500 stocker headers.
Not the Gucci-fied.
We don't have great headers. We don't have a great manifold. We got good stuff, and we probably don't even have the greatest carburetor. So there's a lot of things that we're working on.
You can tell we've been working on the car. My fingernails are all
our nails are all
nasty.
janky. That's all right. I'd rather.
Should I go to work like that?
I'd rather have. Look at that. That
My
is
hands are
messed
clean
up.
right now, but you've been working on stuff.
That's messed up.
You smashed your finger.
I smashed everything. I smashed my freaking toes this weekend.
Okay.
Just stubbing them on things. Stuff. When I kick the dogs, it hurts my toes.
He does not do that. Disclaimer: he does not do that.
I don't do that. I would
babies those
never. I would
dogs.
never kick your mother's babies.
Your mom would kill you.
Yeah,
She would kill
There'd be
you.
nobody to after run oil a damn thing around here if I kicked that dog. That'd be ugly. So it's Friday night, and we are.
Friday night, we already got our asses.
We got our ass kicked. Well, guess what?
We're going home.
We're going home, and here's the good news: that this thing's still got oil pressure, and I'm gonna get a day off.
And I looked down at the oil pressure while I was making her.
Yeah. So Autumn made 2 passes, and she comes back, and I say, Autumn, what was oil pressure? Oh, I forgot to look. Man, that's retarded.
The second time, I go, shit! And you were like, are you retarded? I don't understand. And then the third run, you go, Mom goes, what's the oil pressure? I said, I looked. We have it. It was 60.
Yeah, 60 going down track, which that's not optimal. We want less than that. But hey, we're gonna take it. It's all wins. Because you know what? I should have let you. Did you run on the first engine? Did you run the drill on the oil pump when we pre-lubed the engine?
On the what first engine? Like the first
Okay, so when we first did this, not this engine, because I know you didn't do it. The previous engine. You know how we put the drill?
I did
in
on this one.
You did? Okay, so here's what I'm saying. Do you feel how much pressure it takes? Like how much the drill pulls against
I don't
you?
like it.
Okay, well think about this. This engine has to turn that oil pump. So if there's less oil pressure, it takes less to turn the pump, less effort to turn the pump. So it's easier for the engine. And although it doesn't necessarily I guess you could call it free up horsepower, but it essentially all these little things like that.
It's also if you think about it, it's not slinging it around so hard, so it's not putting more.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of little things, little win and lose things in this whole deal, and we are picking away at them as we go. And another thing is, we got a lot of video.
I think maybe I'm so angry that it didn't hook because I wanted to do bigger release. Maybe that's why.
This thing was definitely weird. It's
hook.
faster, but this thing leaves like a real turtle. It just leaves instead of going like this, it just goes.
And it never used to do that.
No, it always would leave with the wheels in the air,
It
not a big wheelie, but maybe a foot.
Yeah,
Maybe a foot.
And I was so excited.
We were
I was
hoping for maybe 14 inches, but hey.
We were hoping for maybe a Jim Marshall.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want to scrape the powder coat off the bumper.
Hey, at least we know how to powder coat. He's over here and asking us how you know anyone that does crow?
Yeah, because old Jim Marshall, let me tell you,
He puts
that dude,
on a show for a crowd.
that dude is no joke. His shit is so fast that it's not even we're not even in the same.
We're not in the same realm. As
I would say zip code, but we're not on the same planet as that guy. His car is so fast. That thing scraped the bumper so hard the very first run this weekend. It was awesome.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all over the internet. Check it out.
And then he did it when we were sitting behind him, and I was like.
Yeah, that wasn't even close to what the first one was.
No, I saw the video and.
All right, so listen, I I want to get this done. We're going to tie this car down. We're going to throw a couple other little things in the deal. And we're actually going to get out of here tonight. We're going to be home. We'll be home before midnight. We're only 2 hours or so away from the house.
I don't think you know what time it is.
Whatever. I don't even care. Whatever. Okay. All right. Signing off.
Sayonara.
Yep. See ya.